To make matters worse, Ovett didn't even turn up. He made them switch events and then he didn't turn up, so they were furious.
The rivalry was near boiling point as both arrived in Moscow, ready to do battle. Avoiding each other was no longer an option. There was no hiding place in the pursuit of Olympic gold. And with many countries boycotting the Games, the world was looking towards Coe and Ovett to ignite the Olympics.
And to loads of people from around the world, they said that wasn't the Moscow Olympics, it was the Coe Ovett Olympics.
I think that both of us probably felt the pressure incredibly.
Coe was going to win the Olympic 800 metres in Moscow and Ovett was going to win the 1500 metres.
Here they were showdown in Moscow and the first event was 800 metres.
They both won their heats and semi-finals. Yeah, so it was set up absolutely perfectly.
Coe was the favourite, the experience lay with Ovett. Finally, after all the talking, the reputations of both rested on 2 laps of the Moscow track.
Even from the TV set, as they walked out on the track for the 800 metres final, Steve Ovett was in control.
You look at the athletes warming up, Seb did look a bit scared. Steve Ovett looked the most composed.
It was slow, you know, everyone was expecting, the way that Coe usually runs and the way that he'd been running up to that, everyone thought the gun would go and Coe would make it a really quick, hard race from the gun, which is exactly what I'd expected, and it didn't happen. He meandered around for the first lap. There was no sign of Coe at all.
In the first lap of the race, he ran like a scared rabbit, really. Said he didn't get it right at all. Steve Ovett had complete control.
Ovett at one stage was boxed in between 2 giant East Germans. Of course, what does he do? He elbows them out of the way.
All I did was make sure that I was in the right place at the right time, and in fact I was quite brutally doing it.
It was very, very slow. I thought, might as well have a go. Go at the bell, try and get a gap, but who knows, he could hang on. Ran out of gas at 600 metres.
Seb was a little bit nervous and perhaps ran a bad race, but that's tough luck.
He had tactics in his mind, the tactics didn't work out, he didn't put himself in a good position and he truly didn't run a good race.
If you ever wanted to show how not to run an 800 metres, I think I probably managed to commit more of the cardinal sins at 800 metres than anybody's ever managed to compound in a minute and 3/4.
You look at the race tape, Ovett never looks at Coe once.
It was a great line that David Coleman used.
Those blue eyes like chips of ice.
And it was true that he had absolute focus.
Ovett hits the front and Coe can't get through.
Single thought in my mind was the Olympics, for God's sake win it.
And he literally wins as he pleases.
And Ovett looks up in triumph. That was a race about experience.
Steve had this great gift to be able to accelerate with 200 metres to go. And it was very predictable, but there's not a lot you could do about it.
Well, the newspaper headlines were, "The bad guy wins." He said, where's this come from? He said, "I won a gold medal for Britain." And he said, "I got back to the Olympic Village." He said, "People didn't know what to say to me." He said, as if they were embarrassed to congratulate me because everybody thought Coe was going to win.
The gold medal is awarded to Stephen Ovett.
While Ovett celebrated, Coe had to be content with silver. He still had one more chance, but the 1500 metres was not his strongest event. It was Ovett's.
I needed a little bit more time to get my mind around the fact this was an Olympic Games and it was going to be quite serious. I woke up very quickly after he turned me over in the 8th, though, I have to say.
We use the words like devastation and things too often in sport, but he really was devastated. And to pull himself back from that defeat, to come out into the final of the 1500, not scared, but really looking forward to it, was a great, great achievement.
I comforted myself by saying, look, all right, you've cocked up big time. I just kept saying to myself, look, if anybody is going to beat you tonight, they're going to do so. They will finish the race with blood in their shoe.
The 1500 metres Olympic final.
The 1500 challenge, I think it's a great distance, 3 3/4 laps. Not enough time to get bored. You have to keep on your toes. You can't afford to make many mistakes. You only get really one opportunity to kind of make a defensive move, and you only get really one opportunity to make an aggressive move.
Unlike the 800 metres, Coe refused to be boxed in and took his preferred place towards the front of the pack. Ovett stalked him all the way.
I'm sure it wasn't planned, but it was ideal for Seb because he didn't have to worry about the taxis. He just had to worry about outrunning the opposition.
The first 2 laps were slow, but with 1 lap remaining, Coe Ovett and the East German Jürgen Straub were ideally placed to make their move.
The pole position in a race is on the shoulder of the leader, so you can jump them when you need to. And he jumped Straub with 300 metres to go.
And he was perfectly placed on Straub's shoulder. And at the point when Steve Ovett normally makes his attack, Seb made his.
He's looking for Ovett running where he is. He's right there behind him. And could this be Ovett's first defeat? Ovett is in front. And Coe gets for him as he won. Ovett!
Coming back and winning the 1500 metres in such a manner, but the most outstanding part of this man's talent was his mental fortitude.
Back home in Sheffield, the Coe family celebrated their son's success.
I knew when he kicked twice there was no way anyone was going to get him.
The gold medal is awarded to Sebastian Coe, Great Britain.
It was Ovett's first defeat in the 1500 metres for 3 years, and to his fiercest rival.
Maybe I should have been a bit more, I don't know, cutthroat, cold-blooded, but I wasn't. Simple as that. I wasn't good enough and I was beating my better guys.
As we came out of Moscow, it ended all square. And probably looking back, that was the way it should have ended.
The pair returned as heroes. While Ovett shied away from the media, Coe embraced his new role as the face of British sport.
Obviously, there's tremendous local interest, but to have this kind of support is unbelievable.
Oh, I think he's lovely. I think he's a lovely boy. I think everybody likes him because, you know, his attitude to life and things like that. He's so well-mannered.
The year following the Olympics was expected to be quieter, with no major championships or real opportunities to meet on the track. Instead, the Coe Ovett rivalry reached new heights.
They both said 1981 was their best year.
In 81, I had decided I just wanted a year where I just ran.
Basically, they just went out, taking their pacemakers with them wherever they went, and attacked each other's records.
I wasn't interested in championships. I wanted to put the 800-metre record out of sight, which I did for a year or two, and I wanted to go and just get out on the circuit, run in the cities, and see the people I like racing against.
First, Coe broke the 800 metres record, and then came the mile.
In one sort of 9-10 day period, first Coe broke Ovett's world record. Then a couple of days later, Ovett broke Coe's world record. Then a week later, Coe broke Ovett's world record, and that was the end of it because Ovett never got close to Coe's time.
By the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, British athletics was on a high. Despite suffering injuries and illness in the build-up to the Games, Coe and Ovett declared themselves fit to do battle for gold once again.
In 84, all of them had their problems, actually. I don't think Steve Ovett or Seb Coe particularly had a smooth ride towards the Olympic Games.
First up was the 800 metres. Both men qualified for the final, but Ovett was struggling.
But the heat and humidity got to Ovett. He was never a factor. I mean, he almost killed himself in qualifying to defend his 800 metres title. He threw himself across the line in the semi-final, and he was the last guy to qualify.
In the final, Ovett struggled and finished in last place. But Coe too was denied the gold medal he so craved.
In the 800 he ran brilliantly well, and you know, Joachim Cruz from Brazil won the gold medal, but Seb had nothing to complain about. Unlike Moscow, he did everything right, just was beaten by a better person on the day. Steve Ovett had respiratory problems. He'd struggled to make any headway, and wasn't able to do himself justice.
In the 1500 metres final, Coe and Ovett faced another British contender, Steve Cram. Could he defeat the elder statesman? Could Ovett make amends Or would Coe become the first man to retain the Olympic 1500-metre title?
They came to the bell and there was Coe Ovett and Cram in the line. And I said, I never thought I'd see this moment. 3 British athletes in contention for a gold medal in the Olympic Games, 1500 metres. At which point Steve stepped off the track and Seb went for it. And Steve Cram couldn't live with it.
The great skill about the Olympic Games is being able to be at your best on a given day and then compete at your best, to get everything right mentally and tactically. And you only get one chance every 4 years to become a real legend, which is the Olympic gold, and he did it twice.
Memorable moments for both men, for very different reasons. Coe celebrating his gold as Ovett left the stadium on a stretcher. It was the last time they would meet in such exalted surroundings. Seb Coe and Steve Ovett only raced 7 times. Coe beat Ovett in 4. Winning remained their ultimate goal, but their rivalry inspired the golden age of British athletics.
It's natural that there's going to be, intense competition between the two. And of course, yes, the media like nothing better. I mean, it's a tailor-made script.
I mean, they met 7 times in 17 years, I think it was.
Probably on reflection, that's part of the soap opera that was Ovett and Coe, was the fact that they didn't race each other that often.
We didn't race against each other other than the Olympic Games, which was when it mattered.
If there was a circuit like there is nowadays, we could have done a lot more. We could have had a lot more races and perhaps maybe clashed against each other. Who knows?
This was a great rivalry in sport. It was a fantastic rivalry in athletics, and it was a privilege being amongst it.